a few more Grand Slam wins, and Novak Djokovic may very well be considered the GOAT of tennis. But what if that isn't what happens? Nick Kyrgios has been predicted as the only player capable of stopping Novak in the GOAT race. He may be able to impede Novak's bid to set a new Grand Slam record in men's tennis by becoming the player with the highest amount of Grand Slams. It may look like Novak is well on his way to becoming the GOAT of tennis, but according to former Aussie professional tennis player Wally Masur, Nick may just be the last obstacle standing in his path. Wally insisted that Nick has much better odds at overturning the Serb in matches as compared to players like Stefanos Tsitsipas, who was the runner-up in the Australian Open.
Sigh of relief, I think.
The 59-year-old said that Nick Kyrgios could win because he had a much larger arsenal of weapons at his disposal to disrupt Novak compared to other players. By weapons, he probably meant techniques and strategies he could use to come out on top in the match. Wally admitted that he couldn't see that capability in Stefanos when he was watching him in the final of the Australian Open. He explained that to win against Novak, a player would acquire a lot more ways to rack up points, and in his opinion, Nick's got a lot more options in this regard. Well, Nick got his work cut out for him if he really intends to stop Novak. After all, he's a player with 22 Grand Slam wins, and with his latest Grand Slam win, Novak is tied with Rafael Nadal for the highest number of Grand Slam wins. The result of Novak winning the Aussie Grand Slam was familiar. After all, his winning Grand Slams are nothing new. What was rather surprising, though, was just how easily he outplayed the third-ranked tennis player. It seems that Novak was unbothered by all the pressure as he breezed through the match to win a 10th Australian Open title and his 22nd Grand Slam. Novak was very emotional after his victory, and understandably. I mean, his winning his 22nd Grand Slam is a historical moment that opens up the gateway for him to be considered the GOAT of tennis. After winning, he went to the players' box and started to cry as he was overcome by the significance and emotion of his achievement. Even his opponent Stefanos praised Novak as the best ever tennis player after the match. During the match, Stefanos took Novak to a tie twice, but the game still ended in straight sets. At this point, I think we all know that Novak wasn't able to compete in 2021 because he refused to be vaccinated during the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite that, he had a strong return as the number 4 seed. Surprisingly, it looks like the 35-year-old has been playing a lot better later in his career. I mean, he's already won 5 major titles since the 2021 season started. Now, as amazing as Novak is, what makes Wally think that Nick's the only one who can beat him? After all, the younger generation of tennis does have some insanely talented players. Well, it looks like Wally hasn't completely overlooked the younger generation of players. He does agree that the next generation has talent, and some of its players in the top 30 could make some waves in the tour, but it won't be easy. He added that even though though there are players that have got unbelievable firepower, they'll have to work really hard to accomplish something like defeating Novak. He continued that there are some players around that still need to put it together on the big stage. After all this talk, it makes you wonder which players are the ones who caught Wally's eye, and it seems like Carlos Alcaraz is one of them. Well, Carlos is pretty self-explanatory, as he already won the United States Open last year, not to mention he's the current world-ranked number 2 in tennis. Carlos was also the youngest ATP rank 1 in history for a while before Novak took the number 1 spot. Wally seems pretty interested in Carlos's future, but he isn't the only one who's caught his eye. He also mentioned Jannik Sinner, saying that he's been improving all the time, and Francis Tiafoe. According to Wally, these players have more than enough weaponry that he considers key in winning against Novak. Wally stated that he didn't want time to beat these tennis legends. Rather, he wants the next generation to rise up to the challenge. But for now, at least, time is the only thing that can defeat them. Now, Wally may have a lot to say about Nick defeating Novak, but what about Nick? The two players used to have a well-known rivalry, but lately, their relationship has improved by leaps and bounds. Nick even took to social media to congratulate Novak for winning his 22nd Open. Nick himself didn't participate in the 2023 Open due to his injury, but he did make a post on Twitter about Novak's win. He tweeted that they created a monster, referring to when Novak was kicked out of Australia due to his refusal to get vaccinated. He told the Serb, "Well done," and stated that he sat on his couch and enjoyed the entire show. Well, while it does look like the relationship between these former rivals is currently pretty good, it probably won't affect Nick's competitive spirit. I'm sure we can expect him to give it his all the next time he comes across Novak on the court. But will it be enough to win? Well, we'll find out eventually. This isn't the only time that Nick has praised Novak's tennis prowess. In fact, back when he was preparing to welcome him into Australia for the Open, he actually openly admitted that he considered Novak to be the best player in the world. This just goes to show how much respect Nick has for Novak. Not to mention, he even dubbed their relationship a bromance. So even if Nick does want to surpass Novak, he probably won't do anything to sour the relationship between them. Now, Wally believes that Nick might just be the only player able to bring down Novak's rise to the position of tennis GOAT, but what are Novak's thoughts on being the GOAT? His win has reignited the GOAT debate, and it seems he doesn't intend to stop anytime soon. Novak said that winning Grand Slams is the biggest motivation in his career currently. He continued that he's still got a lot of motivation and wants to see how far it will take him. Well, don't we all? Novak said he's got no intention of stopping since he's feeling good both physically and mentally. And he insisted that he had a chance to win a Grand Slam against anyone. Sheesh, that's a lot of confidence, but it's not baseless coming from the current world's number 1. I mean, it's almost inevitable that Novak will win more slams. Nick Kyrgios also said that he could easily win up to 28 Grand Slams, but that did end with him coming under fire from Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal's fans. But no one can deny Novak's brilliance. Who knows? We might actually get to see the tennis GOAT debate settled before Novak retires, or not, if Nick decides to step in. Either way, it's sure going to be an exciting time in tennis going forward. Well, this is all for how Nick might just be the only player capable of bringing down Novak in the GOAT race, and if he's up to the challenge. See you guys in the next video.